What's going on, guys? Nando here, and I appreciate you stopping by and checking out this video that I've got for you. This video has been in a long time process. I've had the HTC U11 for well over a month. I mean, basically since it's come out. You guys have seen some early videos that I've made about the video, and I apologize that it's taken me this long to do a final review on it. I've actually already made a comparisons video between the HTC U11 and the Galaxy S8 Plus. So if you haven't checked that out, do so. I'll leave it in the description, or I'll put it somewhere, you know, wherever people put things on the camera, on the video, whatever. You get what I'm saying. And yeah, check that out. And I'll be doing a comparisons video between the HTC U11 and possibly a couple other phones. I haven't decided which ones. I've got some other phones here to do reviews on. I've got the LG G6, I've got the OnePlus 5, and I still have my iPhone 7 Plus. So if any of those phones interest you to see a comparisons with the HTC U11, let me know in the comment section below, and maybe I'll do a comparisons video with those phones as well. So yeah, so getting started with this final review. If it's your first time to this channel, welcome. I appreciate it. Please subscribe so you can catch more videos. I appreciate every single one of the subscribers. I try to say that as often as I can because I truly appreciate it. For a small channel like me, every subscriber matters. And if I ever grow to anything remotely interesting, and when I say remotely interesting, I'm talking a couple thousand subscribers, I can't even dream about ever getting to something big like those other guys. But this is a hobby to me. This is fun to me. And I'm going to keep getting phones, and I'm going to keep getting technology and gadgets, whether or not I have a YouTube channel. So I figured if I'm going to do it, I might as well put out videos. So I want you all to know that because it's a big deal to me. I have a lot of fun with technology, as you guys who are watching these videos. And I apologize that over 2 minutes in, I have yet to talk about the phone. But I'll get to it. I just wanted you guys to know that. So anyways, if it's your first time, welcome. If you've watched my videos before, then you know that with final reviews, I like to talk about things that I've liked and disliked about the device that I'm reviewing. No device is perfect. Everybody's got things that they like or look for in devices. The same goes with me, and everybody cares about one thing more than the other. And just like us, phone makers make or focus on one thing more than they focus on others. So I'll start off by saying this. The HTC U11, and I'm going to zoom out just a little bit here, guys, is a fantastic phone. If you're thinking about getting the HTC U11, I think you should get it. I don't think you'll be disappointed in the phone. It is a phone that HTC has done a very good job on in terms of build quality. I'll start off with that. And in regards to software. I don't like to talk about software a lot because software is something that everybody seems to have a different opinion. In regards to hardware, you know, people may like, you know, less camera hump versus more metal or more of a glass, you know, those type of things. Yeah, people have opinions on, but they're not as big as people talking about software when it's like, oh man, I hate TouchWiz or I hate iOS, things like that. So I try not to talk about software too much because that's going to be a sore topic, but I will mention some things in this video. I'm going to start off by discussing the hardware, because I have owned a couple HTC phones. It's been a while since I had owned an HTC phone. The last one I think I had owned is like the M8 or M9. And HTC has always made very solid phones, right? We've talked about their phones in the past with that aluminum build quality, hefty look, you know, feeling phone. So hardware has never been something that HTC has struggled with. HTC has struggled with putting great cameras on their phones, making great battery life for their phones, and then a software experience. Now, the HTC U11, I feel like, has brought all of that together into a very well-built package, and one that the end user is really going to appreciate. And I think that applies to both a new user, someone who's new to Android, and someone who's new to HTC, as well as someone who has tinkered with Android in the past, has tried other Android phones. I think that the HTC U11 experience really does a good job encompassing all of that. Again, hardware. You've got the glass back You've got the aluminum or metal sides. I forget which one HTC goes with. You've got a 5.5-inch phone. You've got the Touch ID, the fingerprint scanner, whatever you want to call it, in the front of the phone. You've got the, let's see here. You've got the Type-C at the bottom, speaker at the bottom, speaker at the top for that boom sound that HTC loves to talk about, and it's definitely one of the pros of this phone. And you've got a very, very small camera hump. I don't know if you guys can tell right there, but it's one of the smallest camera humps on current modern phones right now. And that is something that I appreciate about this phone, because this phone takes very, very good pictures. I don't have pictures to show you guys. If you're looking for pictures, I might be able to put some up in a different video. Check other YouTubers out for that. From a casual user, your regular Joe Schmo, this phone takes fantastic pictures. I think that pictures taken with this phone are going to do just wonderful on Instagram, on Facebook, on your computer. If you choose to print them, I don't think you're going to have complaints. Sure, if you put this phone against the iPhone and the Galaxy and the Google Pixels and the G6s and stuff, is it going to be the best phone for pictures? I don't think so. But is it going to be the worst? I don't think so either. I have had no complaints with this camera, other than the fact that sometimes it's a little laggy if you're taking a lot of pictures and a lot of videos. The front-facing camera is very, very good. It's actually been pleasantly surprising, something that I didn't think I was going to appreciate as much as I do and have. The front-facing camera is very good. Now, continuing with hardware. Like I said, the phone is a big phone. It's a 5.5-inch phone, and that's something that I think that HTC could have done a little better. Now, obviously, it's hard to tell from the front here, but the bezel is all of this portion here and all of this portion down here. So really, what you can do is you can kind of take your thumbs and cover, and that's how much screen you end up having. Where my thumbs are is what's lost to bezel. And that's a shame, because it makes this phone much bigger than what it needs to be. Currently, I've been using a OnePlus 5, and before that I was using an LG G6, and those bezels, especially with the G6, you really get a great screen-to-body ratio. Now, you know, today's day and age, you look at the iPhone and those massive bezels, and you look at rumors that they're going to shrink their bezels. You look at Galaxy S8 Plus and S8 and how they've reduced their bezels. So right now you're kind of in the middle. You know, you've still got a lot of phones that have big bezels. You have phones that are starting to modernize and reduce those bezels. It's all a preference. You know, it's subjective. You know, some may like it, some may not. I think overall people appreciate a phone that has more screen, less bezels. It's aesthetically pleasing. And this phone doesn't really do that in terms of bezels on the bottom, but it does it on the side. Because the side of this phone, of this display, really truly spills over. I mean, your finger can just sit here and roll seamlessly from screen to the side of the phone. And that's one of the things that I like about this phone. Yes, it does have, and as you can see there, it almost slipped out of my hand, and that's a negative. But, you know, you got to take the negatives with the positive, vice versa. But when you're holding this phone, it feels great in hand because of the sides, because it kind of just gives you a natural grip. But it also slips sometimes because of the edge. So do keep that in mind. Now, HTC has finally water resistant or waterproof their phone, which is great. That's something that was missing. So I love that. I think that every modern phone needs to have that. You know, little things such as like the textured power button is great. They offer expandable storage, and you still don't get that on phones, or all the phones these days. You definitely don't get it on iPhones. You don't get it on Google Pixel phones. You don't even get it on OnePlus 5. That's supposed to be cheaper and the flagship killer. So I'm glad that HTC has done that. And overall, I mean, when you look at this phone and you see that reflection, I mean, you can see the scarves I have on my favorite sport teams on the side here. I mean, this is beautiful. This phone right here sometimes looks like it's like a baby blue, a sky blue. Sometimes it looks more silver. And they offer other colors that are fantastic. I mean, they just came out with their like lava red or whatever. And it's just a beautiful looking phone. I think that when you pull this phone out and you show someone this phone, and I usually use a case with this phone, people are going to go, oh, wow, that's cool. Like, what is that? That's what they ask, you know, because they're not used to seeing that kind of material on a phone that's not an iPhone, that's not a Galaxy S version of something. So I like overall this build quality, the look of this phone, 10 out of 10, I'm going to give it like a 9, honestly. 8.5, 9 out of 10. No complaints, really. Only little nitpicking things. Now, moving to software real quick, I'm going to talk about some of my likes and dislikes more specifically here in a moment. Software, I think the HTC Sense is one of the better versions of Android. I do not have any issues with it. I actually enjoy it because it's quick, it's snappy, it's fast, it's straight to the point. And if you want customizability, you have it. I love the fact that in the place where Google Now would go, you have their Blink feed. I really like that. It curates your stuff, your social medias, your news, your articles, things that interest you. And I like the way they do it. And like I said, overall, this phone just does not lag. It does not lag. It's not going to be like TouchWiz with Samsung. But it's also not going to be stock Android like you're going to get with the Google Pixel. And honestly, I think that if you buy or you're someone who appreciates Android, you appreciate the fact that all these different makers come and make different versions of Android, because that's what makes it cool. Because yeah, you're all running Android, but somebody has this kind of feature that this other guy doesn't have, and that's what makes it fun, that's what makes it interesting, that's what allows you to pick this versus something else. If everybody was using stock Android, then you were going to pick something based off of just the hardware. Which phone literally looks better? And I personally don't like that. I like being able to pick between hardware and software, and I think HTC does a wonderful job blending the two together. Now, I'm going to talk about some likes and dislikes real quick. Battery life on this phone is average. I'm going to put that in the dislike section because I like my phones to have as big and as long-lasting of a battery as possible. Now, it does come with Type-C, so it charges fast, not super fast like the OnePlus 5, but for, you know, USB Type-C phones out there, it charges fine, you know, fast enough. But nothing that's going to blow your mind. It's not going to be like the Huawei. It's not going to be like the OnePlus 5. I think that even Galaxy S8 and S8 Plus charge faster. So battery life overall on this phone is fine. It's okay. It's going to get you anywhere from like 4 to 5 hours of screen on time. I think usually it's closer to 4.5. Likes again on this phone is the hardware, the way it looks, the wow factor. Likes on this phone again is the camera, great pictures that you're going to be proud of. You're not going to have any issues posting on social media. And if you're still one of those people that print your pictures, I don't think you'll have issues with this as well. Oh, see, slipping out of my hand again. In terms of, you know, accessories for this phone, you shouldn't have any issues. You should be able to go on Amazon and buy different cases for the phone. Overall experience with the phone is going to be a solid like. And I bring this case or the box that the HTC U11 came with a little closer because HTC did things like include a small flimsy little case. The little things like that matter because you're spending a lot of money and you want to feel that they are truly doing everything they can to make you a believer, to make you someone who's going to want their device. And I appreciate that. $650 was the retail of this phone. I'm going to put that as a like because it's much cheaper than a Google Pixel XL. It's cheaper than a Galaxy S8 Plus and even the regular S8. And I think it's a solid value. There's some phones that are cheaper, but the majority of these flagships out there are more expensive. And I think that's something that you need to consider when buying a device and a phone this day. Unless you have so much money, disposable income, that you can just throw out a phone after phone after phone, yeah, we care about what something costs because we're not going to buy 2, 3 of them. I mean, I buy them and then I flip them to try to recover that money. Otherwise, I'm going to go bankrupt. I'm going to go broke. So I really appreciate how much this phone costs. I actually got it for $50 off when it was announced. So they had some promo codes. So really, this phone only cost me $600 and change. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I cover the fact that this phone is waterproof, great pictures, decent battery life, hardware is fantastic, software is very enjoyable, and it has expandable storage. So you still get that and you don't lose that to just internal storage. 4 gigs of RAM, Snapdragon, whatever, 835. So current software, the best of the best this phone has. It's not going to be lagging behind anything else. It's just going to be going toe to toe. And then it comes down to what do you like in your phones? And again, that becomes subjective. Do you care more about hardware? Do you care more about the wow factor? Pull a phone out and people are going to be like, what's that? Is that a Galaxy? Is that an iPhone? What is that? Or do you care more about something that software-wise is not going to drive you nuts like TouchWiz, is going to eventually lag, is going to cause problems, that's going to need a massive amount of RAM, What do you care about? Let me know in the comment section below, because that's what's cool. That's cool to know what makes people like Android, right? We can sit here all day and debate it. So how do you choose your Android phone? Are you, do you have a specific brand that you stay loyal to, and why? Have you bounced around? Do you like just what's the latest and greatest? Let us know in the comment section below. And if you haven't subscribed, like I said, please consider doing so. And please like this video as well, because I appreciate those just as much. And that's it, guys. That's my final review on this phone. Overall, this is a solid buy. I think this phone is like an 8.5 out of 10. You won't be disappointed if you get this phone. And I hope you weren't disappointed in this video. Hopefully we get some good discussions going, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. It was Nando. Stay geeky. Peace. Salute. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Ciao.